Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be doing something I wanted to do for a very long time, almost 4 years actually. We are going to go back to something I like doing on the channel. If you ever paid attention to any of my earlier videos, you should know that I like Friday Night Funkin' quite a lot. And as a whole, this is mainly because of how many things you can do with it. There's a lot to it. So, what am I going to be talking about this time? Well, you've already seen the title of the video, but let's add a little bit of mystery to it. Today, we are going to be discussing my two favorite Friday Night Funkin' mods on a technical level, but they're the ones I have the most connection with, being Wednesday Infidelity and Sunday Night. I don't think I can say the last part of the name because I might get demonetized, but anyways. These two mods are pretty much similar in a lot of ways. Both of them go over a depressed Mickey Mouse, and both of them have a lot of similar theming going on because I'm pretty sure they're derived from the same exact story. A story that I have actually liked for a very long time, which is why I really like these two mods. This was one of the most creepy stories to me growing up, and I really wanted to talk about it, so let's talk about it. To clarify a few things, we are going to be talking about the original versions of these two mods, or at least kind of. We are going to be talking about the original version of Wednesday Infidelity and the semi-original, slightly updated version of the Sunday Night mod. Because this is kind of the only way I can actually, make this an even comparison. Because if you already know these two mods, Wednesday Infidelity had a massive update and has, 5 times the amount of songs at minimum than Sunday Night does at its most modern state. So, yeah, to compare it, we're going to be talking about their original versions because they both have 4 songs to compare, and it makes this a lot easier to actually make a comparison between the two. I will go over some other things, like some of the updated or remake versions of Sunday Night and which one is my overall preferred out of the two. I mean, obviously, this is a comparison video, so yeah. Other than that, let's get started. Both of these are based off of the original 2009 story of the Sad Mouse. And while both of them take slightly different takes on how they actually, go through with a lot of the stuff they do, like some events are different, and actually their intentions in the mod are different, and how they cope with loss is also different, which we'll get to in a second, but overall, that's the basis we're starting off of when we get to our first category, the story. Starting off, while it's hard to remember which ones go on which route, but one has Pluto dying, the other one has Mickey's friends dying in a car accident, and both of them actually involve Minnie cheating on both of them in some way. As far as I'm aware, that's absolutely the case in Wednesday Infidelity, but I'm pretty sure it's the same in Sunday Night as well. And, well, both of them are just genuinely sad stories, but there is a little bit of a difference. Mickey decides to take himself out in Sunday Night. That's how he deals with the loss of, everything. Like, he's putting up a fake smile, and the only way he thinks he can escape this is to take himself out. Mickey and Wednesday Infidelity decides to take a bunch of drugs. That is how this goes. And these drugs end up turning him basically insane, and I think in the end of Wednesday Infidelity, he still ends up taking himself out. But there is differences in the stories, and how well do the mods actually portray those stories? Wednesday Infidelity has a massive advantage. First of all, Wednesday Infidelity has a whole cutscene that actually shows all of this happening, or at least the main parts that we should know about, while Sunday Night doesn't have that. It doesn't really show anything other than Mickey walking down and running into BF and girlfriend. Which, I mean, is a little disappointing, because, like, I would like some context that Wednesday Infidelity gave. But overall, yeah, Wednesday Infidelity takes overall story because it actually shows what is supposed to be happening very well. Now let's talk about the characters themselves, and when it comes to this, it's actually a lot more interesting to talk about. Now, I'm going to say this. We'll start with Mickey first to give a good comparison, since he is the main character in both mods. I am not going to say BF is, because Mickey gets way more attention than BF does in both mods. Basically, Mickey in Sunday Night is kind of just casual about a lot of things. In fact, I like his level of progression quite a bit. In the start of the mod, he's like, sure, I guess we might as well do this. I'm not really doing anything at the moment. And then later on, as he's going on through the battle, we see him progressively grow more and more insane. Probably from, the drugs. I know Wednesday Infidelity is the drug one, but Sunday Night also, I believe, did drugs. Probably should have, stated that in the story section. But, anyways, he goes slowly more and more insane, and the level of progression is actually pretty solid. With basically, throughout the first song, it's pretty normal, but then at the beginning of the second song, he just grows more and more insane through each part of it. And then he, goes completely bad crazy in the final song. So, yeah. In Wednesday Infidelity, something similar happens as well. In fact, the level of progression is almost the exact same, except for I don't really like it as much. Like, the thing is, while it's not bad, and I do like how we get to see the level of progression start in the first song than just after the first song, it's not as well done. Might be because of the fact the songs are a bit longer. Well, specifically the second song. But it doesn't feel as well done, in my opinion. Maybe that's just me, but personally, I don't think it was as well done as it was on Sunday Night. But Wednesday Infidelity does have some things going for it. First of all, again, you feel way worse for Mickey because, you understand he's going through pain. A lot of it, too. And if this was talking about the full version of Wednesday Infidelity, there is a lot of stuff that makes me like this Mickey over Sunday Night. But if we are just talking about the specific Mickeys we see in these two versions of the mods respectively, I think Sunday Night Mickey was done a bit better. Now, in terms of boyfriend, he is, he's not really much of a character in either mod, but I'm going to also say again, Sunday Night did him better. Now, admittedly, there is a lot of stuff that stops Wednesday Infidelity boyfriend from being that good. His design is great. I think his design is perfect in Wednesday Infidelity. Clashing his style with the cartoon style and making him a cartoon boyfriend, that's really cool. Sadly, that's not really gonna matter when there's zero character to boyfriend. You can tell he is a little bit more shocked and surprised by stuff and isn't downright wanting to combat everyone all the time, unlike in Sunday Night. But the thing is, with Sunday Night, they show more of his reactions to Mickey than they do in Wednesday Infidelity, which really kind of sucks. I would really like to see more reaction from boyfriend. Now, again, yes, in the complete edition, they show way more boyfriend, and in that case, yes, they show. But the problem is we're talking about the first edition, and they just didn't expand on it that much, and they did so much more with it in Sunday Night. It's kind of sad, really, that I'm using the original version of Wednesday Infidelity for this. But yes, my point still stands. I think Sunday Night did Boyfriend and by extension also Girlfriend better because she was actually, there. Yeah, we don't actually see Girlfriend as far as I'm aware in the original Wednesday Infidelity. So, yeah. Characters wise, Sunday Night wins. Man, so I am really sad about that actually. But yeah, Sunday Night wins the first category. Now, in terms of animation style, okay, yeah, this isn't close. Wednesday Infidelity wins. Sunday Nights isn't bad and is actually more faithful to the original art style, but the thing is, they did so much more with Wednesday Infidelity as a whole in terms of art style. From its character looks to pretty much every interaction, and plus the fact they have cutscenes, and the fact they changed up Boyfriend's style to actually make it more unique. Yeah, Wednesday Infidelity kind of just takes this category with ease, no issues, which isn't surprising since it came much later. And yeah, but Wednesday Infidelity, it wins this category. Now to the most important part of Friday Night Funkin', to probably most people, the songs. Yeah, this is kind of where the whole lead of video has been leading up to at this point, and yeah. Let's take this by a one-by-one basis, talking about each songs, and since there's 4 individually each, let's just talk about each of those 4 songs, compare them to each other, and say who takes the overall win in each category. Starting off, we have Wistfulness versus Unhappy, and this is actually a pretty close one, because they both go for completely different things overall. So, Wistfulness goes for the more classic tune of how cartoons are supposed to go with the whistling and the classic Mickey Mouse theme. Unhappy also actually goes for this as well, but this time it's more of the classic rhythm style. Personally, I think Unhappy does it better. I think it sounds better, and it's also way longer. And while Wistfulness, again, does get expanded on in the 2.0 of Wednesday Infidelity, can't include that. And also, I think the little break in, the keyboard slamming part where Mickey starts to show that he's going insane Wednesday Infidelity ruins the flow of the song a little bit, especially with how short it is. I know it's supposed to show that he's just revealing a darker side, but, it's just not that good in terms of how it reveals it. Again, because the song is just too short for me. But, yeah, Unhappy wins this category since it's technically simpler, but it's longer and it sounds better. So I'm going to go with Unhappy for this one. Next is Dejection versus Happy, and these two have a lot of things going for them, and both have their strengths and weaknesses, and let's start with both of their strengths. Dejection starts out a lot simpler, and I think its reveal is way better flowed. However, that's not necessarily in its favor. I know that sounds like it would be in its favor, but I'll explain it in a second. Happy is, it's more catchy in my opinion, and overall it has a way more intense second half after the reveal of Mickey going completely insane. And about this reveal, it might be kind of stupid looking, but on first watch, when I first went through this mod, I absolutely loved this reveal. It was sudden, out of nowhere, and very different from a lot of the other things Friday Night Funkin' was doing at the time. And while it's not as impressive now, especially since it looks way worse, even though I think there's a bit of a charm to this look, I think overall it's actually still pretty solid. So, what would I give this? Well, my take is Dejection has a better first half and Happy has a better second half, and it is really close between these two. But if I had to give a winner, I think overall I would have to give it to Happy. Since it sets up, I think, a little better to the next scene in it. But it is really close. Next up is the biggest comparison, Unknown Suffering versus Really Happy. And, okay, this is not that close, but I think both of them have a lot going for them. The shaky screen in Really Happy is overall really solid, and there is some really good rhythm. It's very catchy and very easy to listen to. Unknown Suffering is just better. Like, I'm not gonna lie, even before its update in 2.0, I've always thought Unknown Suffering was a better song. In my opinion, it's more catchy, it's way more intense, and the fact he's literally throwing syringes at you throughout the song is just awesome. This was absolutely my favorite song at the time when it was first introduced in Wednesday Infidelity. And to this day, even though my Wednesday Infidelity ranking would say otherwise, I would absolutely say this is the second best song in Wednesday Infidelity to this day. Yes, there was one that came out and beat it, but that was more on the fact that that was a phenomenal song versus the fact that this isn't good. Like, I love Unknown Suffering as a song. It works really well, and it just does its job a lot better, in my opinion, than Really Happy. Really Happy is a good song, but Wednesday Infidelity finally gets a point in terms of the song. For our final category, we have Battered versus Smile. This is actually a close one, and not for any good reason. Battered is a great song. In fact, I absolutely loved the song when it was first seen. I thought this was just a weird Ninja Mickey song, but it turns out that this is just a song from another mod, being Madness Combat, Accelerant Hank. This disappointed me a lot, because I really liked this song when it first came out, and oh my gosh, I think this version is better than that one. Smile, being its own unique song, is nowhere near as catchy, and in fact, I think Smile is the worst song in Sunday Night. It's not, really bad, but in comparison to the setup that the other ones had, this is just a slow song that doesn't really do much. Not to mention, I think this model of Mickey looks the worst out of all of them, and yeah, so I have the option to pick a song I think is really good, but isn't original to the mod, or I can pick the original song that I just don't think is that good. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Battered. I don't really want to go for it, but the thing is, I just think it's just so much better to the point that I just kind of gotta pick it. So, yeah, personally, Battered wins this category, leaving it a 2-2. Okay, let me give my final points to decide the winner. Now for our final takes on these songs. Starting off with the fact that I think Sunday Night has a better beginning, while I think Wednesday Infidelity has a better end in terms of songs. I think that's very clear. So now I need to compare the two songs that won both of their categories and put them against each other to see which one is overall consistently better. And compare it to the ones they won originally against to decide why I think that. Okay, I'm going to make it clear. I think Unknown Suffering is the best out of all of these songs. But the thing is, Battered, well, again, a great song. Unlike the other two, they don't really have much to do with the actual premise of the mod, and it's not original. And while, yes, Unhappy is also technically not original because it's copied off something else, its Flowed is more original and more of an original idea overall. It's kind of weird to say because, yes, Unhappy is based off of the original cartoon themes, but, like, it's way more consistently its own thing. I think that's how you would say that. Sorry. Anyways, overall, basically, my point is Battered not being an original song makes kind of Unknown Suffering stand on its own. And while I think it's way better than the other two from Sunday Night, I think the fact that those two beat out other songs that were pretty solid makes me end up saying that Sunday Night has overall better songs. Mainly because it just shows its quality control in terms of, like, consistency, I think is better than Wednesday Infidelity in terms of songs. So, where does that leave us? So, that leaves Wednesday Infidelity with better animation and a better story versus Sunday Night, which has a better character / cast and better songs. This is really close, actually, in pretty much all categories. But personally, to me, I think Sunday Night is the slight winner between the two. Its art style, while isn't as good, it's still faithful to the original story, so it still has its legs to stand on. I think its level of progression of showing Mickey's insanity is done better, and the fact its songs are more consistently good in comparison to Wednesday Infidelity, and in one case in particular, more original. But overall, this was a really close comparison between these original versions, and overall, they both get updates in the future, but Sunday Night never gets anything as big as Wednesday Infidelity. And there was actually a rebooted version that I saw recently of Sunday Night. And let's talk about that one, actually. SNS Reborn is the remake version of this song. And I don't think that this was made by the same person who made Sunday Night, but it is a remake of it. And honestly, overall, pretty solid in a lot of different ways. It revamps the art style to that's even comparable, in my opinion, to Wednesday Infidelity, and, well, it does really good at it, really. But the songs have been kind of renamed. Unhappy goes to Dejected, kind of like Dejection from Wednesday Infidelity, but it's called Dejected. Happy goes to Joyous. Really Happy goes to Overjoyed. I think that's actually a lot better of a name. Smile remains Smile. And then a song that I actually didn't mention in the original one because it's from an updated version of the original one. White Noise, I believe that stays the same name. Here, then there is Melancholy and Blinded by Sin. Now, I'm not going to go over and review each song, at least not yet. I want to kind of save that as its own video. But this is a really good example of how to do a Mickey Mouse mod right, in terms of trying to do the original Sad Mouse story correctly. Now, it still does not beat out Wednesday Infidelity 2.0, and not by a long shot. But it's still a really good mod, and Melancholy I was actually really glad to see here because it talks about the Macabre experiment. I don't like the series, but I do like the concept of it, and I do just like analog horror in general. In fact, I'll tell you a little bit later about some backstory probably in another video that I have with my last video, actually, TMK versus the Man. It was actually originally going to be a different matchup, but that's neither here nor there. Anyways, SNS Reborn is a really good recreation of Sunday Night and improves on it in pretty much every way. Longer mod, more songs, good art style. Even the cutscene is better, and I don't know if the progression is as good, but it's still good enough to compare. So, overall, great, and I would love to talk about this more one day. But yeah, that was the video. What do you think of the original versions of Wednesday Infidelity and Sunday Night? I will probably do my own review, like I said earlier, of both of these at their maximum potential. Most likely talking about Wednesday 2.0 and, SNS Reborn at their own individual date one day. But thank you for watching this video. What is your opinion on these mods? And which do you think is better? Anyways, hope you have a good day, and see you next time.